Angels have these 7 superpowers according to the Bible. The 8th ability is flight, which might seem obvious at first, but let me explain, because it's a little bit more complicated than you might think. Angels besides cherubim and seraphim are never actually described in the Bible as having wings, looking more like humans whenever they do show up in the Bible. But in the last book of the Bible, Revelation 14:6, John describes seeing an angel flying directly overhead. So if John isn't talking about cherubim or seraphim, angels have the ability to fly weightless, similar to how Superman does it in his movies. The 9th ability is virokinesis, or an ability to induce sicknesses. We know this because in Job chapter 2, where Satan, who himself is an angel, is able to, and I quote, afflict Job with painful sores from the soles of his feet to the top of his head. Satan being able to inflict this disease on a human tells us that other angels should have this same ability to inflict humans with diseases at their own will. The 10th ability is a control over the wind. We see this in Job chapter 1, where God gives permission for Satan to test this man named Job's faith by taking away things in his life. And one of the things that happens to Job is that winds come down and knock down all the walls in his house, killing all of his children. And since it was Satan doing this and he is an angel, it makes me think that angels have a similar ability to that of airbenders in Avatar: The Last Airbender. The 11th ability is actually pretty interesting. Angels can glow intensely bright, and we might know why they do it. We see this in different passages of the Bible, that in some instances when angels appear to humans, they end up shining brightly. Some are described as having appearances like lightning, others are just said to have a bright light shining around them. The reason that they do shine is most likely because they've been in the presence of God, and when they don't shine brightly, they might have not been in the presence of God for a while. We see in other Bible passages when people are in the presence of God for a long time, like Moses, they can also start glowing. The 12th ability gave me chills. It's kinda disgusting. We see in Acts chapter 12, the king at the time named Herod was accepting praise as a god. So God sent down an angel in judgment to strike down Herod by having him be eaten by worms. So angels must have some sort of ability to control and maybe even create worms, and I guess this angel just chose to make them eat Herod. That might be one of the most gruesome deaths in the Bible. The 13th ability is possession. We know that demons can possess humans, as they do multiple instances in the Bible. But in Matthew 8, Jesus sends out a bunch of demons from a man that they were possessing into a horde of pigs, so we know that demons can possess animals. As we've discussed in previous videos, demons are just angels who have rebelled against God, but we've never actually seen any angels possess anyone or anything in the Bible. My theory is that angels have the ability to possess people and things like demons, but they choose not to because God would consider it wrong for them to do so. The 14th and final one is immortality. There are no verses in the Bible that specifically say that angels are immortal, but we can see that they are through a little bit of research in the Bible. The angels Gabriel and Michael are both described as being alive in the Old Testament as well in the New Testament, which is about 600 years apart. So we know that they have a long lifespan. But we also have accounts of Satan, who is an angel, being described in Ezekiel chapter 28 as being alive in the Garden of Eden, and in Revelation we see him alive in the end times, which is after modern times. The Garden of Eden and creation of Adam and Eve most likely happened between 55,000 and 120,000 years ago, but the date could be stretched back as far as 230,000 years ago, making it pretty doubtful that angels aren't immortal.